This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I am Shasheena Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the island of Grand Bahama playing host to another regional political leader. The official arriving as the country marks its 40th anniversary of independence and as the government explores the implementation of a value-added tax. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
The Minister of Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Dowell, welcoming the former Prime Minister of Barbados, Owen Arthur, during a courtesy call Monday morning. His visit coming at a time when policy changes are taking place globally, and Arthur, known as a reformer, as he was instrumental in impacting the tax regime of his country. According to Minister Dowell, his visit is indeed significant.
It's really a pleasure for us at the Ministry for Grand Bahama to welcome to Grand Bahama the former Prime Minister of Barbados, Owen Arthur, who is here today on Grand Bahama to address the Chamber as it relates to VAT and a Barbados perspective. We're very pleased to have him on the island of Grand Bahama. He's no stranger to this country. He's quite familiar with former Prime Minister and Prime Minister Perry Christie. Today should be a very exciting day. He has a wealth of knowledge with his past experience as a former lecturer at the University of the West Indies and his position as Prime Minister of Barbados and the one who implemented the VAT in Barbados at the time.
The former Prime Minister on Grand Bahama for a one-day lecture series on the topic value-added tax, VAT. He noted that the Bahamas is the only country in this region yet to make VAT a reality. He expressed his delight in being in the nation's second city.
I really am pleased to be able to be part of the celebration of your 40th anniversary of your independence in these significant ways. I was given the opportunity to discuss the philosophy of nation building, but this assignment at Freeport I think is even more important. I had the good fortune to be a Prime Minister of Barbados on 3 occasions, and amongst, I hope, some of my more enduring legacies will be the fact that I had to reform the country's tax system to make it compatible with the requirements of living in today's world. And the introduction of a value-added tax in Barbados, the reform of the system where the VAT replaced 11 forms of taxation, I believe will be one of the enduring legacies that I will leave behind in Barbados. I must also indicate to you that I had, in 1994, to manage Barbados' ascension to the WTO and do it at the same time as we're planning to introduce a value-added tax.
President of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Barry Malcolm, says the former Prime Minister's visit to Grand Bahama comes at a pivotal time in this country's history.
The Prime Minister has such a rich history, not only as a policymaker, but also as a lecturer in economics, and has a very unique double perspective on how these type of tax systems can be implemented within a country. The discussions we're having on VAT and all the related issues, WTO accession and the like, are very critical to our growth as a country. As has been said, resolving, working through, arriving at solutions that work for the country as a whole, especially the citizenry and the business community, are critical to the growth and development of our country at this time.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
Well, this afternoon, the former Barbados Prime Minister was the guest of honor at a luncheon hosted by the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. His focus, the World Trade Organization and the implementation of a value-added tax. While addressing members of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, former Prime Minister of Barbados Owen Arthur spoke in detail about accession of membership in the World Trade Organization.
Bahamas will have to undertake careful research, therefore, to negotiate the best terms of engagement across such a wide field of economic activity. For the terms of conditions under which the Bahamas accede to the WTO by way of its GATT commitment will bear heavily on the future prospects of the Bahamian economy more than any other undertaking. You are a service economy. You will have to negotiate part of a general agreement in trade and services across 12 sectors, 155 subsectors, and 4 modes of service delivery.
He adds that the accession of membership in the World Trade Organization, as well as the new value-added tax system, which is set to come on stream in 2014, will present a new spirit of governance in the Bahamas.
The building of a national consensus on these two matters goes beyond the need for the adoption and support for sound technical positions based only on empirical findings. It requires that where common ground exists on the stated position of otherwise contending parties, such common ground must be recognized and agreed to be held.
He notes that the decisions taken by the government and citizens will change the structure of the economy forever.
It will be a great cause, but great causes are never won by doubtful people, and it's a cause which I'm sure the government and the people of the Bahamas are more than capable of winning.
In other news, 3 men arraigned before Magistrate Helen Jones this morning for 2 armed robberies that occurred earlier this month. The men, 24-year-old Bernard Evans, 24-year-old Ronaldo Roberts, and 23-year-old Stefano Forbes, were not required to enter a plea and were remanded to Her Majesty's Prison in New Providence. A preliminary inquiry into these matters is scheduled for October 22nd. Police say the men robbed a business establishment in the Matertown area on July 3rd, held up the patrons, and made off with an undetermined amount of cash and jewelry. They are also accused of robbing a Freeport couple of cash and jewelry on July 8th. In other news, 2 suspects wanted by Abaco police for a shooting incident on June 22nd in Murphytown is now in police custody. Alonzo Roberts Jr. and Quinton Johnson were arrested here on Grand Bahama over the weekend. Police tell us that officers from the Mobile Division acting on information arrested the 2 suspects in the Freeport area on Saturday afternoon. Abaco police issued a wanted bulletin for Roberts and Johnson back on June 24th. They are accused of shooting a Nassau man in the leg. Reports say the victim is still recuperating from injuries sustained in that accident. Police on Grand Bahama taking another illegal firearm off the streets. Drug Enforcement Unit officers acting on a tip conducted a search of a residence in the Freeport area on Thursday morning and seized a 9mm pistol and 13 live rounds of ammunition, along with 1 kilo of suspected cocaine. Now, a 28-year-old woman of Freeport was taken into custody. She's expected to be arraigned in the Magistrates Court in New Providence in connection with this latest find. Police in Abaco seizing an illegal firearm as well, and that happened early yesterday morning at a house in Dundastown. Officers responding to a tip carried out a search which led to the discovery of a shotgun. The weapon was seized and investigations are underway. Tonight, police are encouraging members of the public who may have any information regarding illegal weapons to call 911, 919, or your local police station. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues in just a moment.